Good evening and welcome to Source 16 News at 10. New this hour, officials in Hopkins County are bridging the gap between Kentucky and Indiana. The Madisonville-Hopkins County Chamber of Commerce tonight sponsored a meeting to allow transportation officials to give updates on the proposed I-69 corridor project, which includes building an Ohio River bridge between Henderson and Evansville. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet I-69 Project Manager Ted Merriman shared the latest information about ongoing efforts.
So right now, the first thing I want to talk about is what we call SIU 6. It's between Eddyville and Fulton. It will be on the Purchase Carroll Parkway as well as I-24. We're completing a study later on this month. The project team will meet July 26th. We'll review the draft document probably in September. The study will be finished. And what the study consists of is looking at the features of the parkway and comparing that to interstate features and defining what meets design standards for interstates and what does not. Also, we'll develop alternates to convert the parkways to future I-69.
Transportation officials say construction of the I-69 corridor is important because 17 of the nation's top 25 seaports will be directly connected to the highway, and it will create 27,000 jobs and add $11 billion in wages. Tonight's event was held at the Hopkins County Fairgrounds Ballard Convention Center and was sponsored by People Plus Incorporated and Murray State University. In other news, an Ohio County Sheriff's deputy that was suspended after he allegedly beat a dog to end its suffering has been fired. Ohio County Sheriff David Thompson told Source 16 that he called a news conference this morning and announced that Deputy Randy Taylor had been terminated based on an internal investigation. However, Sheriff Thompson says the criminal investigation into the deputy's action is still pending. As we reported last week, Deputy Taylor was suspended with pay after he was called to the scene where a dog had been hit by a car on Highway 62 between Beaver Dam and McHenry on June 28th. Once on the scene, Transportation Cabinet road crews witnessed the deputy trying to beat the dog to death with a garden hose to end the animal's suffering. Transportation Cabinet road crews then took the dog and buried it in a shallow grave. However, the next day, the road crew found the dog alive and walking around. Sheriff Thompson told Source 16 that he believes the deputy did not go to the scene to beat the dog to death, and the deputy must have thought he was doing the right thing, but he did not use good judgment. The sheriff says how the deputy handled the situation is not proper departmental procedure, therefore he was terminated effective immediately. Well, volunteer firefighters responded to a mobile home fire in Gracie this afternoon. Gracie and Square Deal volunteer fire departments were called to the 2500 block of Loop Lane around 1:30 after a passerby saw smoke coming from the home. Upon arrival, firefighters reported an active fire at the mobile home. No other details have been released as of news time, but firefighters indicated from the scene that the home was a total loss. Christian County Fiscal Court this morning tabled a request made by several constables to add blue lights and sirens to their vehicles. County Attorney Mike Foster says the request was tabled because several magistrates expressed their concerns about whether or not the constables are trained enough to properly use the lights and sirens when responding to emergencies.
The reason it's important to table it was that the only criteria we had before us today was, do you have insurance on your privately owned vehicle? And each of the applicants said they did. But the fiscal court thought that it stood to reason to maybe set minimum amounts of insurance coverage, because some of the applications had a minimum amount of liability insurance on their personal vehicle. The county cannot pay for insurance on someone's private vehicle. So that's why the county's policy does not cover their vehicle. So if they were in a wreck while in hot pursuit and got sued, they would sue the constable, you would suspect. It also would sue the county.
Another action, fiscal court approved a memorandum of understanding between the city of Hopkinsville to donate over $20,000 to fund the juvenile drug court. And fiscal court unanimously approved the second reading of an ordinance to collect fees at the Christian County Justice Center.
A fee of $25 to add to filing fees in civil cases in circuit court. B, a cost of $25 to add to court costs a defendant is required to pay in criminal cases in circuit court. C, a fee of $25 is added to filing fees and civil cases appealed from circuit court to the Court of Appeals. D, a cost of $10 is added to the court cost for each traffic offense in district court. E, a fee of $10 is added to filing fees in probate cases in district court. F, the cost of $20 is added to the court cost of offenders required to pay in misdemeanor cases in district court.
In other business, magistrates adopted a Christian County limited English proficiency plan and approved spending over $12,000 to purchase new GPS systems as recommended by the E911 Advisory Board. Fiscal Court also declared a Greenville Road property as surplus and then scheduled their next meeting for July 26. Pembroke Elementary School has a new principal. Pembroke Elementary Site-Based Decision-Making Council selected former Trigg County High School teacher Matthew Bowman out of 13 applicants for the principal job. The council also interviewed 4 candidates before making their decision that Bowman is the man for the job. He has 10 years of teaching experience. 2 of those years were spent in Marion County, and the remaining 8 years he spent at Trigg County High School. Superintendent Brady Link says he knows the site-based council worked hard and diligently, and that the selection made will only continue to allude to the success of the school. Bowman began his first day in his new position today. Meanwhile, Callaway County school officials today named the next assistant principal at the middle school. According to spokesman David Downey, Mark English was selected for the assistant principal position at Callaway County Middle School after it was vacated when Amy Turner moved up to take the principal job. English has taught at CCMS for the past 6 years, last year working with 8th grade social studies. Well, for the second day in a row, an excessive heat warning was issued for the viewing area as the mercury climbed to a heat index of about 115 yesterday and today. Western Kentuckians were heading to pools and trying to find other means of staying cool during this extreme heat wave that has gripped the area. Unfortunately for outdoor workers, the sweltering heat is taking its toll. This morning, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet spokesman Keith Todd reported that an employee collapsed from what is believed to be heat exhaustion while working on a project in Muhlenberg County. He says the employee was flagging traffic for a maintenance project on Kentucky 181 at the time and was conscious before being placed in an ambulance for transport to the emergency room at Muhlenberg County Hospital in Greenville, where he was treated and released. This incident serves as a reminder that the excessive heat can create a very real health risk, especially for outdoor workers, where extra precautions need to be taken. Here are some precautions that need to be taken. Number 1, provide plenty of water at the job site and remind workers to drink small amounts of water frequently, about every 15 minutes. Number 2, schedule rest breaks throughout the work shift and provide shaded or air-conditioned rest areas near the work site. Number 3, let new workers get used to the extreme heat, gradually increasing the workload over a week. And number 4, when possible, schedule heavy tasks for earlier in the day. Remember, water, rest, and shade are the 3 keys to preventing heat-related illnesses in this extreme heat. In addition, don't forget to check on your neighbors and the elderly to make sure they are cool and not suffering from any heat-related illnesses, as well as your outdoor pets, who can also suffer heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Make sure your pets have plenty of food, water, and shade. A Trigg County man has been appointed to a newly created education council that will assess and advocate for the needs of Kentucky's early childhood system. Governor Steve Beshear today signed an executive order creating the Early Childhood Advisory Council, and Ben Cundiff of Cundiff Farms in Cadiz is among the 26-member bipartisan council that will also promote accountability of programs in early childhood and provide research and guidance on issues that affect Kentucky's children and families. According to Governor Beshear, the first task of the council will be to assist in Kentucky's application for the Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge. Kentucky is eligible for up to $60 million in funding from this grant opportunity. The city of Mayfield yesterday unveiled its community branding name during an informal launch party at City Hall. Officials say the city of Mayfield Discover Our Hidden Treasures graphic depicts some of the city's most historic downtown buildings located on the south and west sides of the Court Square.
We wanted to have something, again, that would say something about us and would intrigue people into wanting to discover more. And so that's what, now we have a logo, now we have a brand, we have a little logo design that we can put on everything, an emblem, if you will, that'll be on all of our signs coming into Mayfield, that's on our walls out in City Hall, that's going to be in everything that we produce.
Mayfield Mayor Teresa Cantrell says we have so many hidden treasures for visitors and residents alike to discover.
Well, we just feel like in Mayfield that we do have a lot to offer, and we don't think people generally know what we have to offer in Mayfield. So putting the word out that we have hidden treasures is sort of like a challenge to come find out what we have to offer in Mayfield. There's lots of hidden treasures, particularly in our people. Our people are our best treasure that we have in Mayfield, and I think it takes living here and just visiting here to really realize that. So Discover Our Hidden Treasures is sort of a way to lure people to come and find out what we're all about.
In addition to unveiling the city's logo, officials revealed a new city website and a Facebook page they say is more user-friendly and appealing to the public. Friends of Lake Barkley State Resort Park yesterday unveiled a large mural depicting local plants and animals to welcome visitors to the state park. The 12 by 60-foot mural features trees, shrubs, flowers, and animals found only at the park. Officials say it took about a month and 500 hours for 6 volunteers to paint the mural located at the Lake Barkley Lodge.
The mural is important because the wall was such a bare wall, and the mural has become an educational tool for children and adults alike. If you go down to the wall and watch the wall and watch some of the little kids looking at the animals on the wall, it just brings joy to your face. It brings smile to everybody that does it. And the little kids are so excited by everything that's on there. From the little ladybug all the way to the deer and the farm.
Orastia says only $180 was spent to paint the mural. Well, congratulations goes out to a Millbrook Elementary School student who won state at the 4-H state contest held at the University of Kentucky over the weekend. 10-year-old Riley Fort brought home a first place award this past weekend after competing against 14 students in her age division of the speech contest. The topic of Fort's speech was technology for the 21st century. As we reported last week, 7 other local students joined Fort in Lexington to compete at the state contest to display their various skills on performing speeches and demonstrations, how to write text, and delivery techniques.